Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be sharing my thoughts on the first week playing with this new region-wide auction house. I will try to explain whether I think this is something that will end up positive or negative for the WoW economy and for the players in general. And I will also share my thoughts on what you should do in order to enjoy this new region-wide auction house and try to make it as profitable as possible for you. So recently I made a poll in order to ask everyone what were their thoughts on this new region-wide auction house and if they were happy with the first few days playing with it. And I was actually very surprised because, as you can see, there were more people saying that they were actually happy with the changes than people that were saying that they were unhappy. And there was also a majority amongst all the people who answered who said that actually they were pretty neutral in terms of how they felt with this new auction house. So I think it's very interesting because I really thought, especially due to all the different bugs and all the issues that occurred in the first few days of patch 9.2.7 with the auction house, I really thought that with all of that, a lot of people would be very mad. And also, as many different markets, especially everything related to commodities, completely crashed on many realms, I thought that many people would be very upset. But it's not the case, and I think I can say for most reasons why exactly people are not that upset with these different changes. The first one, of course, is that for people who simply don't really care about gold making and about the auction house, but just want to play the game and, for instance, need to buy potions, flasks, and other type of items. For these people, it's now extremely easy to find all these items for a cheap price, and so it really makes it easier for them to do all the different content that they can do in the game and for which they need all these different items. For instance, on my realm before that, sometimes in order to buy only one flask, you had to spend almost 800 gold or 1000 gold. And so for a lot of people, it's still a lot of gold when right now they're at 250 gold. So it's something that is way more affordable for many people. And so I think a lot of people are just happy with all these different changes. It's the same with, for instance, all the different materials, crafting materials, all these different things that some people might need. Let's say, for instance, to craft a mount or to do anything else with the different professions in the game. Well, now they will be able to do that way more easily without having to struggle and maybe sometimes having to buy materials for 50 times the normal price on other realms simply because only a few people are playing on their realms and they control the markets. So I think for a lot of people, that's one of the reasons. When it comes to gold making, I can also see why a lot of people are happy. I'm personally pretty happy with these different changes simply because I'm playing on a low pop realm and I'm also not someone who is very, very keen on gathering and on crafting materials in general. So for me, it didn't really affect my gold routine. And even more than that, it actually helped a lot what I was doing. So before that, many times when I wanted to craft different items, I needed sometimes very specific materials and crafting materials. And it was very difficult to find everything on my auction house. And unless you have a character that can actually craft all of that for you or a friend who can also do it, you will just be blocked and you will unfortunately not be able to do everything you wanted to do with the different professions and with the auction house. So right now I've been able to really learn all the recipes I wanted to really start crafting everything. I also started, by the way, a series where I'm explaining what are the best crafts you can do from all the different professions from each expansion. But it has really been super fun because I can really now craft all these different items that before that were really difficult and for a ridiculous amount of gold. So it's really nice. Same, for instance, of course, if you think about legendaries. As you can see, I'm still selling some of these legendaries for 90k gold when, for instance, if you try to buy everything from the auction house now, it's probably going to be less than 3, 4k gold, maybe a little bit more, but less than 10k gold. So a huge profit. So all these different things make me pretty happy because I've always been someone who like to farm transmogs or farm mounts and then craft items and everything. And so all these different categories are still realm specific. And then I can really enjoy all the cheap materials in order to really make a lot of gold. Of course, some items have really lost in value. So for instance, the enchanted adamantium bar, as you can see, I used to sell a lot of these for like 18k gold, 20k gold, even more sometimes, because I was almost the only one crafting these different bars on my realm. And now, as you can see, they're all selling for 1,500 gold. So of course, some markets have really been impacted, and of course, some of these items are now completely worthless for me. But overall, I would say that most people on low pop realms and medium pop realms will be pretty happy, because you can now really craft everything for a very cheap price, and so just makes it easier to try different markets and to try different things. Now, when it comes to gathering professions and to crafting consumables and all these other commodities, of course, the market has been impacted a lot. But for many of these commodities and of these crafted, for instance, consumables, the changes from the prices before that on low pop realm, on high pop realm, is not that different. So by that, I mean that some markets have definitely been negatively impacted, but others are just almost as the same, or even some of them actually gain some value. So for instance, if you take the Progenitor Essentia, they are now selling way better than they were before patch 9.2.7. And what's also still something pretty positive for people from hyper realms is the fact that now everything is really selling immediately. Everything, like from, for instance, the like crafted consumables, materials, and normal materials from Shadowlands, if you post anything, it will sell automatically. So I think it's still something that will impact a couple of people, especially the people who are really like gathering a lot and doing all these different things. It will definitely impact them, but not so much. I would say the people who might be the most upset are really the ones who were having a monopoly in low pop and medium pop realms with gathering and crafted consumables and things like that, because definitely these people lost their markets. But I don't think it represents like a majority of people. And as I've explained, I was part of these people with some crafting materials and consumables, but as now there are so many other opportunities that appeared with this new auction house, I'm not mad, and I just see that as a new way for me to explore new markets and to make gold. So overall, I would say that for me, these different changes will end up being pretty positive, whether it is for the players who want to just purchase all these different things for a cheaper price, or for the people who just want to explore new ways of making gold. I've heard a lot of people saying that basically with these different changes, it's going to become way more difficult for people to make some gold by, for instance, just crafting consumables and gathering different materials. And that, like that, a lot of people are not going to be able to pay their, like WoW subscription with gold, and that they will just end up leaving the game. But I really don't think it will be the case. Maybe it will be like the case for a few people, but I'm pretty sure that most people who were anyway doing gathering and crafting consumables and everything will find new ways, or will just like simply refocus on other materials, on other things that can now still be very profitable, but just it's another market. For instance, I'm really like trying to find like other items that can be very interesting, and you really have some of them. For instance, here the Magnificent Hide. As you can see, there has been a little like like decrease in terms of the value, but you can now craft like start farming all these items, and they sell very fast. So I think it's just going to be about being able to adapt to these different changes and to just find new markets and new ways of making gold. But for me, I'm very confident that if I do the same poll in maybe like a month or two from now, I'm pretty sure that many people will be happy still with all these different changes. And so, yeah. So this is mainly what I wanted to discuss. Of course, again, as I already specified in one of my other video where I was talking about this new region-wide auction house, for me, crafting professions for everything other than consumables are now going to be extremely interesting. And of course, all the rest, like still farming, like mounts, transmog, and all these different things won't really be impacted as well. But really, for me, crafted professions are going to be the clear winner of this new change. And so you can really start making a lot of gold by crafting all these items, especially mounts and things that sell fast. So that's going to be pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you'll find a way of, well, enjoying this new region-wide auction house and making gold with all these new possibilities. I will be back very soon with more videos and with more guides. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great week. Bye.